Today's Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council's chambers and remotely. There's a Zoom link and the meeting ID. The meeting also will be viewed through the digital platforms such as Facebook, Lawrence City Council page, the YouTube, Lawrence City Council page. Please note that the elevator is not in service, and therefore the access is provided via remote participation, as I just mentioned. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy. Councilor Levy.
Hold on. Here we go.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Absent. Vice President Estela Reyes. Absent. Councilor Rodriguez is absent. Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes is absent. Councilor Infante.
Present.
President LaPlante.
Present. Will you please call in Councilor Levy again, please?
Councilor Levy.
Present.
Will you please join me in a moment of silence? Now, will you please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, councilors. Clerk, will you please call the roll for Councilor Rodriguez and Councilor Payano?
Councilor Rodriguez. Present. Councilor Payano.
Thank you. At this point, I'm looking to, and would you please call the roll for Councilor Selena Reyes?
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
At this point, I'm looking for a motion to approve the minutes from March 1st, 2022. Motion made by Councilor Payano. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes is absent. Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, thank you. The next set of minutes, I'm looking for a motion to approve the April 5th, 2022 minutes. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilor Payano. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes is absent. Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, both sets of minutes are adopted. At this point, we have public participation. You have 2.5 minutes to give your comments. Please direct the chair. Also, you will hear a beep or some sort of signal at the 2-minute mark, letting you know that you have 30 seconds left. The first speaker is Mr. Mali. Mr. Mali.
Morgan Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We, the citizen, demand from you and Honorable Mayor Brian DePena contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police Department, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Vask, has done an excellent job to protect our citizens. Lawrence Police Union, this union, pride and honor, deserve the best contract. During the dark days of the pandemic, Lawrence Police Department, this thin blue line, has worked so hard. We must declare September 13 each year the Day of the Police Appreciation. We support Lawrence Police Union, Senior Officers Union. Million thanks to our best DPW workers. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of our hard-working DPW workers. We support our DPW union and leadership. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of Lawrence, moving forward. We must note in this year of contract negotiation, we support our teachers and their union. Their union, we demand the best contract for our teachers. We demand from Lawrence Alliance for Best Education in Lawrence Public School the best wages for our paraprofessional. Lawrence, one city under God. We are the best example of respect and honor for our union, Lawrence Police Union, Firefighters Union, and our Teachers Union. Remember your campaign promise. Save Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, only possible if we approve the best contract for Lawrence Police. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miley. The next speaker is Richard Russell.
Good evening, councilors. My name's Rich Russell. I reside 34 Cross Street. First, a big hats off to the Lawrence Fire Department for their handling of the fire on Crosby Street. Another hats off should go to the excellent mutual aid system that Massachusetts fire departments can rely on. As I'm writing this afternoon, Lawrence Fire Department was on a mutual aid response to Pelham, New Hampshire. While I'm also handing out hats off to various city agencies, I think that the new city homeless coordinator is worthy due to her baptism by fire in the first 2 weeks on the job. Now, the kick in the butt portion of my comments, it's about politicians. No, none of you guys. Today is the 247th anniversary of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. It's unfortunate that state and federal politicians are all too happy to create 3 and possibly 4-day weekends as this previous weekend was. Why do I get bent out of shape about this holiday in particular? It's because Battle of Lexington and Concord was the first place that the colonists put their foot down and finally said, not on our watch. The British, already in a foul mood from their lack of success in Lexington and Concord, killed 12 individuals in Metonomy, now known as Arlington, Mass., who taunted them on their way back, on their march back to Boston. One of these individuals, Jason Russell, was my second cousin 6 times removed. I feel that April 19th should be considered as the birth of America and be celebrated as on the actual day, not a day convenient to a weekend. There are very few holidays that are celebrated on the actual day the events are being celebrated happen. This should be one of the days. Last, how is City Ordinance 2.64.270 going to be changed? Duties, qualifications, salaries? I guess I'll have to just wait to hear it from the public hearing. Wait. That doesn't do any good, as the citizens can't ask questions directly of city officials. With that, I apologize for being the Russell that I am, as I must have taken lessons from stirring the pot from my late second cousin, Jason. As always, thank you.
Thank you very much. These names, addresses, and comments are going to be submitted to the clerk to be part of the public record.
Council President?
Mr. Payano, why do you rise?
Thank you, Council President. Are we done with the public participation?
We are done with the public participation.
Council President, I would like to take item 7122 out of order.
There's a motion to take document 7122 out of order. So moved. Properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Estela Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion is taken out of order. Counselor? Oh, what, clerk, will you please call for Counselor as Vice President's attendance,
Vice
please?
President Estela Reyes.
Present.
Thank you. Counselor Payano, you have the floor?
Council President, I'd like to rise and give my presentation from the podium.
Yes, you may, sir. Thank you.
Council President, members, my colleagues in the City Council, I rise for item 7122, resolution recognizing Lawrence High School senior Jordi Volquez. So I have the honor, I think, of presenting this resolution to this incredible young man, resolution that has been signed by all the other council members. I think a lot of us already know, but for those that don't know, I'm going to read the resolution so that way it can be read into the record, and your efforts are known throughout the city. Whereas Lawrence High School senior Jordani Volquez won the 55-meter hurdles event at the New England Track and Field Championship at the Reggie Lewis Center in Roxbury on Saturday, March 5th, 2022, with a record-breaking time of 7.31. And whereas he set the all-time Massachusetts record in the event, bettering the previous mark of 7.35 set in 2011, whereas he is now the #2 all-time New England performer, whereas he's tied for the second fastest in the United States. Be it resolved that the City of Lawrence commends Mr. Volquez for his hard work, dedication, and perseverance in obtaining this monumental achievement. That the City of Lawrence is proud and honored to call Mr. Volquez a Lancer and a Lawrencian. His achievements show the amazing talent that exists in our community, and we hope that this recognition is one of many. Mr. Volquez, I want to thank you so much for putting not just Lawrence High School's name out there. As a former Lancer, I'm very, very proud of your efforts, but even more so as a Lawrencian, as a city councilor, seeing individuals like you rise, work for your achievement, makes me very proud of your work and actually pushes me as well to do better. I did track back when I was in high school, came nowhere close to your numbers, like not even close to that. So I admire those efforts, and I hope that other students and other Lawrencians are able to do the same. I have with me, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being here, as well as presenting this resolution. Thank you. As well as presenting this resolution, Mayor DePena has a resolution as well. Council President, if it's okay, I'd like to give the floor to the mayor.
It would be in order.
Now I want to say thank you. Tonight, I think it's a great moment present young person represent the city of Lawrence, because many times when you see news about city, not every time the public receive the better news. But tonight is a perfect moment for the community. And this moment, I know excited because somebody from Lawrence, somebody young, somebody from the Lawrence High School, make Lawrence different. You make Lawrence different. You Lawrence High School. Lawrence High School no is only complaints, no is only firing inside the school. It's us. You represent the better Lawrence have in Lawrence High School. Lawrence High School is, in this moment, is this guy. Is the whole group you see tonight. Thank you. Thank you for representing Lawrence.
Council President, I'd like to give Mr. Volquez an opportunity to speak as well. So we're going to take a few more photos as well with the City Council. So Mr. Volquez, before I give you the mic, I know that the mayor's proclamation, is pretty incredible. It comes framed. Our proclamation is doesn't look as heavy duty as that, right? But our proclamation, so the City Council speaks for the City of Lawrence. And our proclamation is not just from the City Council, but it's officially the opinion of the City of Lawrence. So So I want you to, just kind of like take that this is like in the record that this was there. So historians like our council president, 50, 100 years from now, can go back and see that you got this recognition. But that being said, please, if you can say a few words.
So, first and foremost, I'd like to thank my parents, my mom, my stepdad, the city of Lawrence, for being such, great people and supportive to me. Also, I'd like to thank my coaches. I'd like to thank Coach Spain, Coach Jameson, Coach Eddie, the whole coaching staff, at Lawrence High School. I'd also like to give a big thank you to Mr. Reynoso. Gio, for, always being there, helping out whenever anything is needed. But, the city's been great. I definitely wouldn't have been able to do this without, the city's support and everybody's support, and I appreciate everybody that supported me so far, and, we still got more to do.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Okay? Thank you. Gracias. Super, super. Council President, would it be okay for the councilors to take a picture with Mr. Volquez?
It certainly would. Before we do that, I've been informed by the clerk that the proper procedure on this, the answer will be yes, is to make a motion to adopt the resolution. We can adopt the resolution. We can recess for 5 minutes for the purposes of taking the picture. So I'll entertain a motion from you.
I would like to adopt Resolution 7122.
Second.
Made and seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Any discussion? One quick question. I believe there's a road race a week from Wednesday that I was just told about. Can someone let me know when that road race is in Lawrence, so if anybody wants to go to watch, it won't take long, right? Like 6 seconds, and then you're gone, so it's fast, right? But when's that race at the stadium? Track meet, stadium, what day and what time? 3:30 on what day?
27th.
On Wednesday, April 27th at 3:30. If you get there early enough, you can actually watch this champion run and ply his craft. Motions have been properly made. It's been properly seconded. No further discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion is adopted. I am now looking for a motion for a 5-minute recess for the purpose of taking a couple of pictures, made by Councilor Payano, seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez. Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, we are in a short recess.
Great. All right, we're going to take some pictures. Bring the proclamation as well.
I'm looking for a motion to come out of recess.
So move.
Motion made by Counselor Infante. Seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. Roll call, please, clerk.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano. Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, we are now out of recess. The chair would like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the members of the city council who were tremendously instrumental in providing assistance and relief to those victims of the Crosby Street fire. I couldn't be more proud of this group of individuals from all over the city that came in and helped and aided and gave of their time, crazy hours, absolutely crazy hours, to provide assistance. So my deepest, deepest thanks to all of you for really stepping up. You have made our institution, we made our institution proud, and we represented ourselves to our residents in a very classy and dignified way, that it's all about public service, and you epitomize that. I also want to thank, I also want to acknowledge the mayor, who is back, and I couldn't be more thankful that the mayor is back. And do you have a few words you want to say, Mayor, that you're here? Do you wish to say a few words?
Yes, number one, I want to say thank you for my colleagues. I want to say thank you for every city council member. I want to say thank you to Fire Department Chief Brian, Chief of Police Vasquez, because the whole community know in the weekend I visited Dominican Republic because I have the long time compromise, and I take the whole weekend, and in the satellite, in the moment when somebody called me, listen, firehouse fire in Lawrence, I call Mr. Otavian, and I call couple of members to the city council, and the first question is, need the mayor take care right now, fly right now to Lawrence? I'm ready for doing it. But when I received the whole information, everybody said no, everything is under control. I want to say especially City Council President Malaplante, I keep full communication, and when I see social media, you know, I'm not a little nervous because, you know, firehouse fire, you know, it's not easy decision, you know. It's a moment, bad moment for anybody in the city to take the right decision, include fire department, acting mayor, council president Malaplante, any member, city council, and put everybody together in one moment. In difficult moments, is the right moment when the community give the better faith for the victims. Today I visited to the hotel in Andover, and believe me, the victims is so very happy. Explain the situation is real, you know, bad because when you need move your family to the hotel, you don't have nothing. Many families fire everything fire, but everybody's happy because in this moment, the more important is key safety, the family. Family safety, the city of Lawrence continues to support this family, but it's the right moment. The city need to take action about the future because for many years, everybody make recommendation to citizen buy insurance for his apartment. But not everybody understand what is very important, you know, buy insurance for your apartment, for his apartment. the Lord need sit everybody together and take action. It's the moment for take action. But the more important is I want to say thank you because the whole government worked together that for the whole weekend. I'm so happy, but it's time to do something about this situation because that's very big fire, but that's not the last one. That's not the last one. They're doing something. And I want to say thank you again. And never I forgot that magnificent job everybody doing together. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And I think I want to single out Councilor Infante. This is your district. If there's anything that I know that we can do to help you with your constituents that are affected, please don't hesitate to reach out. And you've been on the forefront of this. You've been on the tip of the spear. So I want to acknowledge you directly for all the good work and leadership. So thank you so much, and let us know how we can help. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Good night.
At this point, I think I'm looking to Council Vice President Reyes, who's looking to take an item or two out of order. Councilor Vice President?
Thank you, Councilor. The item that I'm looking to take it out to make a motion is out of order is 9322.
A motion by Councilor Vice President to take 9322 out of order. It's been seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion. That is the Puerto Rican Pride Parade and Festival of Campañón comment on August the 7th. Clerk, please call the roll to take it out of order.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Council Vice President?
Thank you. Document 9322 is a Puerto Rican Pride Parade and Festival of Campañón Common on 8/7/22 from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation pending some sign-off that Councilor President, they had been calling me, they couldn't get all the sign-off just because it was a holiday yesterday and Friday was closed. So I'm looking to approve the motion, the item pending the signatures or the sign-off that they need to provide.
Motion's been made with the conditions. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Yes. Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries with the condition. Council Vice President, is there another item or is that it? Council Vice President, is that it?
One more.
Okay. I thought there was.
Motion to take document 8322 out of order.
There's a motion to take 8322 junk dealer license Auto Recyclers Group LLC out
So
of order.
moved.
Is there a second? It's been seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Council Vice President?
I make that as a formal motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes, I have a few questions for the applicant.
Hi, Bob Nash, 50 Medford Street, Auto Recyclers, President.
Thank you for being here tonight again. I believe this is the second time that, or third time that I actually have the opportunity to vote on this item. I want to make sure that people knows what we voting on. This is what people call up there the metalera, where people bring metals and do the recycling, old cars, and anything that is metal, basically. And that's located right around the Rotary of Medford and the Five Corners, Hancock's, and all that. Last time, I was very, very cautious about voting in favor of this item for multiple complaints that we have received throughout the years about your business. And essentially, you work on a lot of those. I appreciate that. But there is a lot of other things that we need to work to improve. A lot of the trucks coming to your place are not necessarily being careful with things that the city have put a lot of effort, which is the Rotary around that location. The current mayor have a project that he would like to pursue. We have done a tremendous job by keeping up with that Rotary. And somehow, I think that instead of having that relationship of not working together, I think that somehow, one way or another, you as a business owner should be more involved about making sure that the trucks going around doesn't step on it, step the Rotary, and respect what others have done in favor of maintaining that Rotary. I understand you. You know that you probably might say, no, that's not me, that's not my business. But at the end of the day, it's the area, and they go into your business. They getting out of your business, and that's a huge concern that a lot of people has around. Obviously, for the last 3 years, it was not as active of other years. The complaint has been not as much as before. Obviously, we were going through a COVID situation, the pandemic, a global pandemic, that a lot of people were not as active as before. But this year coming up is something that we're expecting to see a lot more vehicles, a lot more people going to your place, and a lot more perhaps business going on, which we need to understand that there's a lot of business around your business. But as a councilor for that area, I always going to be caution about voting in favor of this because there's a lot of contamination that we're not able to see. But with all that said, last section that we have here, 3 years ago, you brought up a lot of information from MIPA, from DEP, and so far, so on, which satisfies a lot of the questions. And I definitely appreciate that you making the effort to ensure that we got proper information, not just a vote. And I definitely appreciate it. Also, I have to tell you there is a lot of people around the area that there is a lot of people that complains, but there is others that like the type of business you do, because not as clean as we want to, but the area around in front of your business, at least you try to keep it clean, which is good.
Not easy.
One of the complaints we got, it was a few cars going in front of your business, it got removed. Mattresses going in front of your business got removed. Please look into your fence, because the fence is been, kind of like, deteriorating over years. And those are things that, if I don't tell you that now, it will be more difficult for you to get that, how serious it is. And like I say, I'm always going to be cautious about voting in favor of those two junk licenses that we have in the city, those two active ones. Both of them were grandfather in. I believe that throughout the city there is similar business, but not as those two. There are, I believe, 13 in the state of Massachusetts. That is 2 in Lawrence or something like that.
I don't know.
And we are 6.7 square miles. And like I said, I'm gonna keep on saying I be caution about voting on this, but the effort you have put, it deserves another chance to keep on doing business. I hope that you can improve more than what have happened, and look at your surroundings, look at the area, and make sure that you feel ownership about that area as well. And that's basically what we're hoping for. Obviously, you as a business owner want to make a determination, but I hope that, you know, the message goes from point A to point B and we can get results. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you acknowledging what I've done so far, because I understand being in the junk metal business, it's not the greatest looking facility in the world, but we try to clean up outside all the time. People think they can just drop metals off at all hours because we're a metal dealer. So midnight, they'll drop a piece of metal off in front of my gate. So that's what happens. So we try to clean up the area, and if you go by, it should be cleaned, you know, now, to be honest with you. I don't go out every day. But as far as the Rotary goes, you know, you and I have talked about that before, and I've tried to, there's a lot of tractor trailers that come around my area, and I've tried to call the different companies to make sure how concerned you were about that. I understand that. And they're going around a little Rotary, and they're big tractor trailers, and but they're not respecting what you've done there to try to beautify it. So hopefully I made a difference. I'll continue to try that. But please feel free to stop by, and if things bother you, but I'm happy to try to fix them for you.
Appreciate it.
Any other comments on this matter? Hearing none. Councilor Levy.
Question, Mr. President, through you. How many times does he clean or take him out everything that he collected in his yard?
Can you hear her?
How many times a week, a year? I don't know.
So I heard most of it. Is how many times that I got, if I didn't get the best part, how many times did what, Counselor?
How many times a week, a year, a month? I don't know how many times he clean everything that he collects in his yard.
If I understand, permit for, I think no?
So, Council President.
Did I misunderstand her? Councilor Payano, go ahead.
Council President, what I heard was that how many times throughout the year do you clean everything that's in your yard?
Oh, God. Well, if I'm answering the question properly, we ship out metals daily. So the yard turns over probably once a week, to be honest with you. We're constantly taking in metals, and we're constantly shipping. We ship 4 or 5 or 6 tractor trailers a day of metals, so it's just constantly rejuvenating and over again. So I'd say weekly is probably how much metal we turn over in a week. Hope I answered her question.
I think so. I think we're done. Is that it, Counselor? Do you have a follow-up, or are you good?
I didn't hear what he said.
Could you say that one more time? How frequently do you clean up?
So what happens is we take in metals every day, Counselor, and so we ship out approximately 4 to 5 to 6 tractor trailers a day of the metals that we take in. So we try to keep up with daily intake. So probably weekly, it's everything that we took in for the week is shipped out weekly.
So they do daily business, 4, 5, or 6 shipments a day, so Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday, yeah.
So there you go. So it's 5 times whatever that is, between 25 and 35 shipments a week?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All year round, practically, right?
Yeah, well, except for Christmas. We shut down for the week of Christmas.
Exceptions. Does that help, Counselor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
I vote present.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Abstain.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, April 19th, 2022, at 7 p.m. at a public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers, 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chamber and remotely via Zoom. Please note that the elevator at City Hall will not be in service. To receive access codes for remote participation, contact the city clerk at dleblank@cityoflawrence.com at 978-620-3232 or 978-771-6693 prior to the meeting. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence, the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.3.40 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Shawshene Road, east side, from 220 feet west of the intersection of Loring Street to a point 240 feet west of the intersection of Loring Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinance to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? I do realize we have somebody that's virtual that may want to speak on this matter, but I don't think so. The public hearing is now closed. Councilors, what is your motion?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve has been made
Second.
and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes. Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Councilor Infante? Cooperation. I'll take the next document, number 27221. Councilor Infante?
Thank you, Council President. I would like to make a motion to waive the reading of the preamble for the remaining of the public hearings, as it is the same as previously read this evening by our city clerk.
Motion's been made. Is there a
Second.
second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Approved.
I couldn't understand your motion, Ms. Infante.
Clerk, could you please describe the motion
Yes.
on the floor before us right now?
Counselor, the motion was to waive just the beginning section. There are numerous public hearings on the docket tonight, and the introductory part is always the same. And since it's already been waived, read once into the record, the counselor is waiving the reading for the remainder of the public hearings.
I vote is yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
We already had the motion.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
The motion,
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
yes. The public hearing is now open. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on document 27221, handicap?
I do need to read.
You need to read part of it?
I need to read part of it.
Here we go. Okay, clerk.
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. West Street, east side, from a point 52 feet south of the intersection of Manchester Street to a point 72 feet south of the intersection of Manchester Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Councilor Vice President, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. The next document is document number 27421, handicap parking at 16 Buswell Street. Am I supposed to do anything?
Ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code handicap parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Buswell Street, south side, from a point 165 feet east of the intersection of Monmouth Street to a point 185 feet east of the intersection of Monmouth Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve by Council Vice President, seconded by Councilor Infante. And discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Yes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. The next document is document 27521. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Lawrence Street, west side, from a point 3 feet northerly of 332 Lawrence Street to a point 23 feet northerly of 332 Lawrence Street, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed. In that respect only, persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, public hearing is closed.
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days?
Waive the 30 days. Councilor Infante, discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Yes. Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy. Counsel Levy.
She said yes. Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 27921. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.40.060 of the Municipal Code, permit parking streets designated, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Champlain Avenue, both sides. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Counselors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made. Motion made by Counselor Vice President Reyes, seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. The next document is document number 28021. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding to Section 10.28.100A of the Municipal Code, stop signs and flashing red signals, the following paragraphs in their appropriate alphabetical order. A, stop signs. Margin Street northbound and southbound drivers on Margin Street at Melvin Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Counselors?
I make a motion to approve this item and waive the 30 days.
Motion made and
Second.
waived the 30 days, seconded by Counselor Vice President Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Document is document number 29221. Clerk?
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Bunker Hill Street, west side, from a point 60 feet north of the intersection of Lawrence Street to a point 80 feet north of the intersection of Lawrence Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the...
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Counselors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days?
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Selena Reyes. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. Next document is document 1322. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.340 of the Municipal Code, handicap parking, to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Lawrence Street, west side, from a point 20 feet north of the intersection of Common Street to a point 40 feet north of the intersection of Common Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Counselors?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Counselor Payano, seconded by Vice President Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante,
Yes. The motion carries. The next document is document number 1422. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 10.36.260 of the Municipal Code, 15-minute parking to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. Inman Street, south side, from a point 20 feet east of the intersection of Brookfield Street to a point 40 feet east of the intersection of Brookfield Street, between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30-day.
Motion made by the Vice President. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy,
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counsel Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez, Counsel Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes, Counsel Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The next document is document number 5722. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following petition. The Massachusetts Electric Company, doing business as National Grid, requests permission to excavate the public highway and to run and maintain underground electric conduits together with such sustaining and protective fixtures as said company may deem necessary in the public way or ways hereinafter referred to, and to make the necessary house connections along said extensions. Essex Street, National Grid will be installing 2 new manholes, 1588-1 and 1588-2, and 490 feet of conduit on Essex Street between Appleton Street and Jackson Street for a commercial service upgrade occurring at 234 Essex Street. MH1588-1 will be located approximately 150 feet west of MH1588 on the northerly side of the street. MH15882 will be located approximately 190 feet away from MH1588-1 on the northerly side of the street. Vents for MH1588-2 will be located in the sidewalk to the north of the manhole. Per the City Council, this work must be done between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. A copy of the plan submitted by National Grid is available to view in the City Clerk's office at 200 Common Street, Room 107, Lawrence, Mass. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? I see one member. You'll need to take yourself off mute, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
This must be your first time doing this. Welcome.
No, it's actually been a couple times. My name is Vaz Naang, 1101 Turnpike Street, represent National Grid, North Andover. As the clerk said that we are in need of installing about 540 feet of 5-inch conduit and installing 2 manholes. This is in order to upgrade the service for 234 X6 Street, sir. So, any questions?
Speak on this matter. Hearing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Council Vice President, seconded by Councilor Piano. Discussion? Questions?
Yes. Discussion.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Through you, Mr. President, well, I have a question for the National Grid representative. So you just mentioned that you guys gonna install how many feet of pipe on Access Street?
It's going to be 40, sir. A total of 540.
Mr. Ng, I'm going to ask you to say that one more time. Give yourself 2 seconds after I finish speaking so the person in the back can turn the flip off, and then 2 seconds and then speak.
It's a total of 540 feet, sir.
Because what we have discussed on previous discussion, it was just the manhole. But now the scope of work have increased. How long it might take you guys to do this work on Exit Street?
I'm unable to answer that I'm not sure how the process is out in the field with the underground people and the civil people doing the work. So I'm sorry, I'm not unable to answer that for you on how long it would take.
So you guys haven't discussed that on the scope of work as of how many days it might take to do this type of work?
Unfortunately, in my line of work, I'm just a designer. I don't know how long the actual process it is from start to finish and on excavating and putting in the manholes and all that other stuff.
This have a potential of closing the downtown for quite some time. So 550 feet of pipe won't take a couple of days. It will be close to a week, perhaps, to be conservative. Do you know that the timing that we are approving is to do night work?
No. I wasn't able to hear you. Sorry.
I'll start again. So this type of work, 550 feet worth of pipe on Exit Street it won't take 2 days. It probably take more, close to a week perhaps, doing 100 feet of pipe on 8-hour shift. So, but obviously, you're just saying that the type of work you do is based on the design, not necessarily discussing the scope of work that is going to be taking place there. And my other thing, it was an affirmation of a statement saying that the work that we are approving, or the discussion that we have in front of us today, the schedule of the work that we are approving tonight is from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware of that, but it's just made me aware now, and I guess that's what the scope is requiring for the city to approve the work. And I guess that possibly that is worked out with the construction folks at National Grid.
Do you have any information on regard to the project that you guys are going to be serving?
The only information I have is what is presented to you, sir.
Repeat that one more time, Mr. Ng.
The only information that I have is what is presented to you guys, the council, and Mr. President himself. That's all.
Did you guys know who's we gonna be serving?
What I can tell you is that these hours, we just...
So
Where they gonna go?
Who's going to be served? Who's going to be the beneficiaries of the service? Unless a member of the committee wishes to ask, we can ask the guy who's going to be plugging it in. I don't have it. So typically, I'll rephrase it, and it's something like this. How many people are typically impacted by this kind of work, are beneficiaries of this kind of work?
Well, with this kind of work, it's going to be beneficial for the people who is asking for the upgrade, along with the whole businesses around the area, for they're getting an alternate and preferred feed. So if one feed happens to go out, we go out there and we make a switch and put it to the alternate feed. So we still have power there as a redundancy for the whole area there.
Essentially, what I want them to make sure is that at least we know what we're approving. The work is supposed to be at night. And the amount of days that you guys are gonna be there, since it's gonna be perhaps a major construction around the downtown. So all that information, it's important, at least for me to say yes to this, knowing the fact that you guys have a good approach as of how to go ahead and do the work. That's essential, but I mean, I think that next time, when you come in front of us, those are the type of questions that at least I'm expecting to hear, especially in the downtown area. In other areas, probably it's not as important as the downtown, but that's very, very, very difficult to hear that you guys don't have, or at least you don't have that information in front of you. All right. Thank you, Council President.
I believe there is a motion on the floor. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
I'm voting present.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion passes. The next document is document number 6722. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to section 10.40.060 of the municipal code. Permit parking streets designated to be inserted in the proper alphabetical order. West Street, east side from a point 20 feet south of the intersection of Acton Street to a point 132 feet south of the intersection of Acton Street. West Street, east side from a point 20 feet north of the intersection of Florence Street to a point 48 feet north of the intersection of Florence Street. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. Just as a correction, I may have misspoke. This is document number 6222. Now, the public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing none. Public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve and waive the 30 days?
Motion made by Councilor Del
Second.
Rosario to approve and waive the 30 days, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. The last item of the public hearings this evening is document 7222. Clerk, please read the public hearing notice.
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the following proposed ordinance. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by deleting the following paragraph to section 2.64.270 of the municipal code, capital asset project manager. B, qualifications. The capital asset project manager shall have a minimum of a bachelor's degree in construction management, civil engineering, or architecture, master's degree preferred from an accredited university, and a minimum of 5 years of work experience in successfully managing construction projects, along with experience in project management and capital program planning. Further, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Lawrence that the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence are hereby further amended by adding the following new paragraph to Section 2.60 of the Municipal Code. Fire Department. B, qualifications. The Capital Asset Project Manager shall have a minimum of a bachelor's degree in construction management, civil engineering, or architecture, master's degree preferred from an accredited university and/or minimum of 15 years of work experience in successfully managing construction projects, along with experience in project management and/or capital program planning. To the extent that there exists any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that respect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter?
This is where I lost it. It said, and a / or minimum of 15 years. Is it and or what? What's the exact wording on that?
It's a public hearing. Well, I'm sure someone will answer afterwards. Continue on. We're hearing your comments. This is not a dialogue.
That's what I wanted, was a clarification on that wording of the phrase about the where it goes from 5 to 15 years.
Maybe so we'll address that after the public hearing is now
Oh, okay.
closed.
I'm sorry.
Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter? Hearing that the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made is to approve by Council Vice President. Is there a second? Seconded by
Discussion.
Councilor Infante. Discussion, Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes, well, we have, thank you, Council President, for the opportunity to speak on this. I was analyzing the sentence, and what I ended up, as a result of my reading through a couple of times, what I have found out is that somebody that have only 15 years experience with no other qualification, either civil engineer, whatever, can apply for the job. That's what it is. A high school diploma, or perhaps not even high school diploma. And if you have the 15 years experience on a resume, can apply for this job. That's why I'm against this change. Because at the end of the day, what we paying as a taxpayer, we gotta ensure that the qualification for this type of work, that is grade 8 or 9, grade 8, yeah. Which means that it's gonna make close to 100,000, if not a little more. Don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's, or just as simple as a high school graduate. Because we add the word or a minimum of 15 years experience. That's what it is. We're changing that a specific qualification to ensure that anybody can apply. And when I say anybody, it could be literally somebody that don't have any type of education. And I personally feel like it is extremely difficult even to read this because I'm a civil engineer by trade. I have a master's degree, and I value what a civil engineering means on those type of projects. Capital asset project manager is supposed to be somebody that ensure that the tax dollars money that we pay are going to are being spent appropriately. And probably having somebody that have learned the job and have done the work for 30 years, 15 years, 17 years, not necessarily going to ensure that the main point of having a capital assets project, which we were forced to have a capital project for 5 years projection in the city of Lawrence. We were forced by the state to have that. And I truly believe that it have worked tremendously in favor of the city. But changing the qualification of somebody that is going to manage at least for the last 5 years, not this year, but for the last 5 years, at least $8 million worth of projects with just experience and not necessarily a high school diploma, it is very difficult for me to vote in favor of. I'm definitely not voting in favor of this because as taxpayer, I'm consider those tax dollars money to be that we need to ensure that it goes to or at least is managed by somebody that know what they're doing. And having somebody with a background in civil engineering or architecture, it is extremely important to make sure that we have that. So with that said, Council President, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. The next person I see is Councilor Dela Cruz, then Councilor Payano.
I have a question for Mr. Ayanello. What will be the salary for this person?
Pardon me, right now it's 80 to 95,000. In the ordinances, it's a grade 8, which presently is 80 to 95,000.
A grade A for somebody with experience, but not civil engineer or architectural experience.
Well, that's the proposal, is to, right now it's very restrictive, so the mayor proposed to add an additional year's experience from 5 to 15, and in case somebody didn't have the requisite degrees, they would have 15 years experience, which would be equivalent to the requisite degrees.
But we're gonna be,
And that was the point of the proposed change.
but we're gonna be paying somebody a level 9, a level 8, with only 15 years of experience. That means somebody coming out of any vocational experience can do the job that a civil engineer and an architectural experience needs to bring to this position.
Well, they have to have experience managing construction projects in that field. Is not experience, has to be related to construction. So that's what this is. So it's not
And
experience.
it says a
it's not-
minimum of 15 years of work experience
In
at
successfully,
construction.
in successfully managing construction projects along with experience in project management and/or capital program planning. So they have to have all those experience in those areas
Does
to
this
qualify
person-
for the position.
Does this person need to have license in construction and stuff like that?
There's no license required, no.
No?
Because I think that would be, I think you're talking about a licensed
Well-
construction manager or something.
If this person is gonna be in construction management,
Well, remember what this position is. This is the capital asset project manager for the city, managing all our capital projects that we have going on in the city. So it's all the construction projects, the elevator, the roof at City Hall. They won't really get involved in constructing the Oliver and the Leahy because we're hiring special owners project managers for those projects. But all the other construction projects in the city, the capital asset manager manages, make sure they stay on budget, make sure the projects that the council approves get completed, and oversee the construction and the construction and financial management of those projects to make sure they are completed to the city's satisfaction.
as you know, the $253 million that the president is sending from infrastructure to the different cities then that person is going to be in charge of so much $1 million to deal with any improvement that is being done in the city.
If there's infrastructure related to water, sewer, wouldn't fall under the capital asset manager. Water, sewer handles that. And like I said, any school construction projects are usually done with the assistance of the MSBA, and they require an owner's project manager to be appointed on the project. So it wouldn't be the capital asset manager. Could be involved in helping out with a few things, but by and large, it's going to be the construction of those two schools will not be under the jurisdiction of the capital asset project manager. It's all the other projects. If there were some projects funded by the federal government, it's possible the capital asset manager could be involved, but more than likely those would be water sewer projects that the water sewer department would handle.
Thank you.
Next is Councilor Payano, then Council Vice President.
Thank you. So I have a question for you, Director Iannello. Director Iannello, before I begin my questions, can you just give us and you might have in the past, and I just didn't hear, a brief explanation as to the why?
As to why this change?
Yes.
It's just right now the requirements are restrictive, and to fill a position is very difficult. A person needs a bachelor's degree and only 5 years of experience. So this opens it up to allow somebody, it still has the requirements for a college degree, but if somebody has more experience, we'd be able to fill a position with someone. We have a greater pool of candidates to fill a position from, whereas right now it's very narrow.
So Director Iannello, did the city attempt, I know this has been open for 2 months, 3 months?
It's been open for since December, I think, about approximately 4 months.
So about 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Did the city put a posting in those 4 months?
We're waiting for this thing to get this approval, the change to get approved, so we could properly post it.
So essentially what I'm hearing is that you're assuming that you're not going to get a lot of people under the current way it's written, and you believe that by expanding it, you'll be able to get more.
That's the request from the mayor, yes.
I have a couple of more questions.
Mm-hmm.
As far as, so the way it's currently written, it says years of work experience in successfully managing construction projects. Now, what I'll say is, like, normally I think education is extremely important. You know, I would say that doesn't mean that someone with experience doesn't necessarily beat out someone with education. Some of our best litigators in our history didn't attend law school. But that being said, I'm interested in sort of the wording, the current phrasing. It says years of work experience in successfully managing construction projects. And I'm trying to understand what that means. Are you saying 15 years of being a general contractor?
Experience in successfully managing construction projects, which is what we're looking for, someone to manage. If we have a $400,000 elevator repair project, we're looking for somebody who has that experience to handle a project of that magnitude. So those are construction, that's the project management that we're looking for, managing capital projects throughout the city.
So as far as the hierarchy in construction, are you looking for someone, so for example, if it was somebody that was below a general contractor, you guys would be okay with that? So like, I'm just trying to figure out when you're saying successfully managing construction projects, like who fits into that that section, whether it's like a general contractor or the general contractor, or if it's like other people that might work with the general contractor.
Yeah, I'm not in the construction field, so I can't really answer that, but what we're looking for, what I would like in this position from a finance perspective is to make sure someone is managing these projects. And someone managing all the projects that the city has going on has to have some understanding of construction, for example, with the elevator, project here. How long is it going to take? What's involved in replacing an elevator? I really don't have any idea, but someone in this field would have some construction experience to understand construction timelines, how the contractor orders the parts and so forth to get the project, to keep it on schedule. So there's certain milestones and timetables that would be, someone would have some expertise in managing. And obviously the dollar amount of the project. It has to have a good understanding in Massachusetts of the procurement laws, even though we have a procurement department. The last capital asset manager was also MCPPO certified by the state to put things out to bid, to understand the bidding process, to make sure the city got followed the procurement requirements and also got the best deal for the city.
Thank you. My next question, if you can please explain to the council sort of like the difference between what do you see the difference between capital program planning and project management?
Well, I would think the capital program planning is the project schedule, and also we have a capital improvement program of the city, follow that capital improvement program, versus project management would be actually involved in the management of say the elevator as an example.
Yeah, no, the reason I asked that is I'm just trying to understand why you guys believe that basically you could have someone who has experienced project management. You could have someone, I understand that someone with experience with capital program planning probably has experience with project management, but someone that has experience project management doesn't necessarily have experience with capital program planning. So I'm just trying to understand, do you believe that this is like work, if it's somebody that has project management experience, that they don't necessarily need that experience with capital program planning?
Again, this isn't my area of expertise, so I can't really answer that. What I would suggest is that there is a difference between, at least the way the existing ordinance was written, there's a difference between, because we took it right, the original language, the present language is before you, which is experience in project management and capital program planning. What the difference between those two, I'm not sure what the author was having written this. I wasn't involved in it. I'm just here to ask for the change per the mayor's request to give us an opportunity a better opportunity to fill the position.
Thank you, Director Arnello. I'll say that I think that myself, I think I need to understand this a little bit better to see how exactly this role, or because you could have somebody with a master's degree and maybe not 15, but several years of work experience and all the other pieces that we're looking for. So I think I need a better understanding on how this role would meet the requirements of the job description.
Well, I think that's the purpose of this ordinance, which is changing the ordinance to reflect what the city's looking for in a capital asset manager. And when it was originally written, they had it very restrictive with the education, and I think the recognition is that there's some people out there that might serve the city better, that may not have the education but have a better construction experience, which is what we're kind of looking for. So I think that's the genesis of the request by the mayor to change it or to give the city a little more flexibility in filling the position.
Vice President Reyes?
Thank you, Councilor President, but my question has been answered, was about the job posting and also the qualifications, so I will give you to Councilor Infante that she might have a different question.
Are there any other questions? You're all set? No one else has spoken. Councilor Rodriguez.
I don't know if you mind. Thank you for responding to these questions. So if I hear you correctly, the posting haven't go up yet with the old ordinance that require the bachelor's, masters, that require the bachelor's and different things and a minimum of 5 years experience. That haven't been posted yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was posted earlier, but I don't believe it's posted now. I think we're waiting to post this position pending the change in the ordinance.
All right, so assuming that, taking your words from what you originally said, that it probably haven't been posted, with the current, without the current changes that the city is proposing, the administration is proposing, I think that we should actually post it to see if it's anything, because we assuming that, as Councilor Payano said, we assuming that it probably people up there. Do we have anything in mind that it better serve the city with the current changes that we're proposing? Or we don't have anybody in mind yet, perhaps, or you don't know?
I don't know. We have somebody acting in that position now, just doing the job, trying to do the best, keep the job going before the position's filled. So we have somebody in an acting capacity, but we don't have, the position hasn't been posted under these guidelines to fill.
Because, I mean, if we haven't posted, we don't know if it is anybody up there. I'm pretty sure that there is a bunch of civil engineers with that salary, with only 5 years experience, that might take the job. If we haven't posted yet, obviously, we're not going to find out. But I'm being on the field of engineering, civil engineering, I'm pretty sure that there is going to be applicants that wanted to do this type of work for close to $100,000. And just reducing, taking things away, qualifications that are going to better serve the people of Lawrence, I think is not a good idea.
Well, we didn't quite take away, remember, we did add, so there's changing it from 5 to 15 years. So there's a swap. It's a,
Yeah, we're changing the education
It wasn't just
for,
reducing the job qualifications, it's changing the job qualifications, but it's still quite extensive.
yes, if I get you correctly, so we adding 15 years experience from 5, but we taking away the qualification of educations, if that person have that. And we also taking away one of those 2 experience, which is experience with project management or project planning. One of those 2 might be out if the person have that. It's not required as before that both of them were required, because it's a and. Now it says and or. So it could be one of the 2. So we're taking that out too. But I got you. I understand.
I think it's a swap, yeah.
It is a swap. And essentially that's basically, I think that this council should reconsider voting in favor of this and posting the position with the current qualifications we have to see if we can get somebody. But I need to say that for the record. I believe that we are directly benefiting somebody with these changes. And I'm not going to say the name, but I have the name. I'm not going to say the name for the record, but I have the name.
Okay.
Motion to table?
Second.
There's been a motion to table, and there has been seconded. No discussion. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to table is adopted.
Councilor
I
President.
think there's a couple of quick ones. We want to get some folks out the door here pretty quickly, and thanks for everybody for their patience. Council Vice President?
Take 2 items out of order, please.
One at a time, Counselor. Which one's first?
Yes. First document is 9222.
Second.
Motion to take document number 9222 out of order has been properly seconded. Discussion? That's the United Way Baby Shower Camp Unity Common. It's been made and seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Council Vice President.
Document 9222 is a United Way Community Baby Shower Company Common on May 7 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion's been made by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Discussion? Hearing none.
Then,
Clerk, please, Councilor De La
Can
Cruz.
somebody explain the baby shower?
You want to be invited to the baby shower, Councilor? Is that what you just asked?
I'd like to hear a little bit more.
You want to hear more information and
Yes.
perhaps get an invitation? Okay, go ahead.
Hi.
What is the baby shower?
So the baby shower is sponsored by the United Way. It's the second year to serve low-income pregnant women and new parents with infants 6 months or under. And it provides them with gifts. The United Way is providing a case of diapers, a gift card, and an infant gift set. And they've asked Greater Lawrence Community Action. I work there as director of the WIC program, serving 90% of babies born in Lawrence as low-income babies. And we will be serving 150 of those through referrals that serve low-income pregnant and new parents.
It's not for anybody who is passing by, it's just,
It is not. There is a pre-registration requirement. Unfortunately, United Way is only funding 150. So there'll be 150 guests stopping by. We'll have a drive-through where they can pick up their gifts. They can also park in either the garage or near the common to visit our partners that are sharing community resource information.
thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Hearing no further discussion. Councilor Rodriguez?
Yes, just to follow up on what you said, the pre-registration, that take place at the Greater Lawrence Community Action Council, or that's something that is open to the public?
So the United Way asked us to be the lead at Greater Lawrence Community Action, but we are partnering with other community partners. So we are partnering so we are serving the greater Merrimack Valley. So we are partnering with Community Action in Haverhill, as well as the community group here in Lawrence, and all the moms and babies that we serve in our agency.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Is that it? So thank you very much for being here, for all that you do. We do appreciate your good work, and we wish you a successful event. Having said that, if there's no other discussion, comments, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy. Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Council Vice President?
The next document is 9522. It has been Esperanza Academy Graduation Ceremony Company Common from 6/11/22 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation. Did I make the motion to both? It's getting late.
The motion to take it out of order has been properly seconded by Councilor Piano. Hearing no discussion, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy. Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, Council Vice President.
Okay, it's Esperanza Academy graduation ceremony at Campanon Common at 6/11/22 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Discussion.
Discussion.
Discussion, Councilor Rodriguez.
Are they here today?
Hello. Hi.
Hello. Well, thank you for being here. I mean, it is very important for me to ask you to take this opportunity to explain to the public what are we doing. Obviously, there is a graduation for Esperanza Academy. A lot of people up there probably don't know yet what's Esperanza Academy. I love the school. But I would like those people up there to kind of like, to get to know, like, how they get to that graduation. But first of all, they need to get to know the school, who you guys serve, when do you guys open registration, and then graduation to be in order.
Okay, so Esperanza Academy is a small, private, tuition-free, all-girls middle school here in Lawrence. I believe we've been running for close to 15 years. I'm actually part of the first graduating class, and I'm just now working there as of January. So we serve low-income residents of Lawrence. So in order to go to the school, it is lottery-based, and you have to be a resident of Lawrence. There are some exceptions, but basically it's lottery-based and based on your income and things like that. And the current class, graduating class, it's 8th graders, and there's 13 of them that are gonna be graduating this year. So it's a really small school. If you haven't heard of it, it's probably because there's only less than 60 students there. I guess it's fairly new, but this is a side note. We're planning to expand fairly quickly, actually, and we're gonna be moving from the small building that is in front of the Common Park to one of our historic mills. So it's pretty exciting, and I feel really honored to be part of it as a former student. So this is our first time trying to do our graduation at the park. We usually do it in the Episcopal Church, the Grace Episcopal Church that's right next to our school.
So there is 13 students that are going to graduate at the Campanion Park. When those students start up there? It was in 4th grade, it was in 5th grade,
Yeah, so right now it's from 5 through 8, and so most of the students entered their 5th grade, again, through lottery. If they didn't, it was just, they applied and they got in by merit, so they made a decision to accept them. But most of them have been here since the 5th grade, and they're gonna be graduating, and a lot of them are actually going to different high schools throughout Lawrence, but also throughout the United States. I think this year we have a record number of students that are going to boarding schools throughout the country, which is a really big deal to us because I was I was the first to go to a boarding school, and now most of the class is heading to a boarding school. So it just shows the progression of the school and the commitment as well.
Thank you for taking your time and providing us with the opportunity to hear about this, a little bit more about the school. And to those up there that are watching and listen to this meeting, they will have the information. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other comments on this matter?
I just have a question.
Yes.
For the time, I think you said 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
That's what I have, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
I just wanted to ask because in certain meetings they were wondering if we should push up the time of the graduation. Would it be difficult to extend that time frame now?
So what is it, the hour that you're looking for?
So
To set
now-
up or?
Yeah, well, so now they want to start the graduation at 11 a.m. So the setup would still be 9 a.m. And we're thinking the graduation is only going to take an hour, but we have it till 12, and I just personally don't feel comfortable having it end at 12 if it's starting at 11, and we're probably going to have to do pickup.
So how about 2 o'clock?
That sounds
So
good.
9 to 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
So there's going to be an amendment to the motion
Motion
to
to-
extend it to the ending time to 2 o'clock.
You second the
I-
motion.
but that we don't believe anybody else has a permit for the common at 2 o'clock. But I think it's important to check. The last thing we want is someone says, I have the comments, and they have the comments, so probably should double check just to make sure. And the last thing before you leave tonight, Campagnone Common is, I would love at some point during your graduation ceremony, this is not a requirement, this is just one of my little things. If someone can mention very briefly the history of the Campagnone Common and the 3 soldiers in World War II, they were brothers that died. And that's why that common is named after them. These are young students that are graduating. It's always nice to hear a little bit about our history. If you can include that somewhere, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're
I'll
welcome.
make sure to add that.
And if you have any questions, call me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's it. Roll call, please, clerk.
On the motion to approve as amended, Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Reyes, Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes, yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion carries. Permits.
Council President, I'd like to take item 8722 out of order.
I actually heard.
I was gonna take that document, 87, and also the other. Seconded, yeah.
Counselor Payano, what is your motion?
Council President, I'd like to take item 8722 out of order.
Motion to take document 8722 out of order. It's been properly made
Second.
and properly seconded by the Vice President. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy, Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Counselor Payano?
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve item 87-22.
Motion has been made,
Second.
properly seconded by the Vice President. Discussion. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes, yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Council, I'm looking for a motion to take document number 9022 out of order.
So moved.
Motion
Second.
made and seconded by someone over here. Who was it? Counselor Reyes. Motion made, properly second. Discussion. Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion to take off out of order. This is document number 9022, Earth Day, Campagnone Common.
Motion approved.
Motion is
Second.
made to approve and by Counselor Payano, seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none.
Can you waive the 30 days?
Clerk, please. Did you have a comment, Counselor?
If that could waive the 30 days for the Earth Day.
It's a permit. We don't need a. I believe it's not required, so, okay. It's a. So the permit can be permitted. That's a great question, but I think it's permitted as soon as the council adopts it. So, any further questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante,
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano,
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counselor Levy,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries to issue a permit. Counselors, because I've invited some folks here from Groundworks Lawrence, I'd like to take document 11112, the Mass Historic Commission Canal license out of order. Is there a motion?
So moved. but I think,
Second.
11122?
Motion has been made to take 11122 out of order. It's been properly seconded by Council Vice President. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy,
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz,
Yes.
Counsel Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez,
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario,
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion to take out of order carries. I'm looking to the Vice President to give the committee report for document number 11122.
Passing the gavel to Councilor Rodriguez. He finished the meeting that day, and he sent the report. Committee as a whole.
All right, Council President, the Committee of the Whole met and discussed item 11122, and we present the facts in the letter to the council. The council decided to send this item as a committee report, and I present that as a form of a motion.
Motion's been made
Second.
and properly second. Discussion. A couple things. There needs to be one small edit and maybe a few more edits as well, but one small edit on this document is that, as they mentioned that night, Clean Rivers Power began in 2020, not in 2019. And I will mark this up for the clerk, but that's one small change that needs to be a part of that letter, just be accurate. I also invited some folks from Groundworks Lawrence who've had some conversations with the Mass Historic Commission at various levels. And because I think it's important that we all have the same information as we make any kind of votes, I would like for them to come before us and just kind of give us an overview of the discussion that they had. In one of the respects, with one of the conversations was with the SHPO, which stands for the State Historic Preservation Officer. So welcome, Ms. McMahon.
Thank you. I'm Heather McMahon, Executive Director of Groundwork Lawrence. And after talking with President LaPlante, wanted to just flag, so SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Officer, we had sent them a letter about the FERC process, the Section 106 process. And the State Historic Preservation Officer called us. We had a short conversation because this process has not been clear. Central Rivers Powers, we have found 2 documents that we have for you that explain the process that they did not distribute. And so when SHPO said to us, it's pretty clear, it's laid out, but 3 things she highlighted is that Section 106, which is the process we're in about taking the canals out of the federal jurisdiction of FERC, she said it is the best outcome for historic preservation, that the SHPO needs to be a signatory, otherwise they play no role in the execution of the Historic Properties Management Plan. She also highlighted that the MOA, which CRP has created a draft of and sent to FERC, but that it is not final. FERC will review and hopefully incorporate SHPO's comments into the MOA. SHPO and FERC need comments from other parties to improve the MOA, thus the letter coming from the city. And SHPO believes that the concurring parties are on equal standing as signatories. She does not see a difference, and the concurring parties listed include the City of Lawrence, the Lawrence Historic Commission, and Groundwork Lawrence. And others through this process have asked to be involved as well. So one, to make sure, as we learn what the Section 106 process is, there's the State Historic Preservation Officer, there's the Advisory Council on Historic Preservation, and we have their document, A Citizen's Guide to Section 106 Review. We have copies for everyone. And then there's also the issuance of guidelines for historic property management plan, which is what the MOA will be is the agreement to agree and create this plan. We have their guidelines as well. And since we were encouraged by SHPO to look at the process and follow, we want to make sure everyone had those as well. So we've got copies. Do you want to?
Certainly, we'll take those copies. We can distribute them and make sure the clerk gets one as well. If you have it electronic, that might be, I'm not sure if that's preferable for the clerk or
We
hard
can do
copy.
both.
I don't know. It's up to the clerk how she best wants to manage the documents. I do have one question, and help me with, it's the funding. What's the acronym for that, the funding of the HMP?
So the Historic Properties Management Plan, the
Yes.
HPMP.
HP, yeah. That's where some funding sources are, where they're putting some money into it. Is that the account?
Hopefully. So one of the things SHPO has said that there needs to be the plan, but SHPO has also called out there should be a preservation fund as well. And that's what we're hoping the CRP will be required to create as the owners of the property.
Is it your opinion that if they don't have an MOA or the SHPO doesn't sign it, that we can still insist on those two elements as part of the canal license, the FERC license?
So what we understand from SHPO is that they intend to participate, and that's one of the reasons she highlighted to us that this MOA is only in draft, that the comments are really important, and that she will stay involved and take all comments as come in on the MOA. And then once the memorandum of agreement is created, we are just agreeing what would the main pieces would be that would go into the plan. These documents lay out what exactly is in the plan. The plan is not required to have any funding sources, which is one of the reasons why we are hoping that between what they're hearing from the city, from other parties, and from SHPO, that funding plan is also a requirement. Since the Essex company, now owned by CRP, has not invested what they needed to make sure that these properties are the assets that the city deserves and needs for economic development.
I have a quick question.
For in a second. So you did give some draft comments that I haven't had a chance to look at, barely looked at. But I'm curious
Yep.
what those are that we may correspond or any of this council wishes to, because I don't think our draft letter states this, but I think the point that you're making is to insist that at some point, whether it's the MOA, if she chooses to sign it, or in the license, that there be two elements. One would be that financial plan.
Yep.
That you talked about, and the second is the management plan, sort of.
Correct. Yep.
So, and that's not in this draft letter that we worked on a little bit of the video, but I think that would be important potentially to add.
Agree. And we also reached out to the National Park Service. They are also another federal agency that has a say in the Section 106. The North Canal is on the Historic Register. The South Canal qualifies to be put on the Historic Register. And the National Park Service, they only have 7 employees throughout the whole country that work on this, but 2 are based out of Boston, and they have to have a reason, a connection. Thankfully, it was the National Park Service that brought groundwork to the United States over 20 years ago. We are actually a key partner. So the National Park Service has committed their staff to be involved as well. And obviously, they're very concerned on the historic preservation and its upkeep. So that's another party that is willing to talk to not just us, but to the city. And one thing they identified in our conversation last week was that municipal renewable energy is something that FERC prioritizes, and so the ability for the city to be able to do hydropower on the canals with its existing rights to both water as well as the equipment would be something that FERC would prioritize, and they suggested the city may want to make that intent known as well, both in your letter But also there is a form of an intent to do hydro. And so it's doesn't have to be the big full application for applying for a license, but just notifying FERC that the city has the intent to look into this. So that would be worth including in a letter. Yep.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. At the beginning of your conversation, thank you for being here and thank you for everything that you have done. I definitely appreciate everything that you guys have done so far. I'm being part of those conversations. I'm listening to everybody, and I know that you have the best interest for that canal. I appreciate that. Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge that in public. At the beginning of your statement and conversation, you mentioned that SHPO was in favor of, and you mentioned something related to the scope of work on the canal. Can you go back to that statement? I want to make sure that I get fully understand.
So SHPO is recommending that we submit comments on the draft MOA that's been created and submitted to FERC. Through that comment process, be willing to sign the MOA because Section 106 she says, is our best opportunity to ensure the historic preservation of the canals. And she is requesting on top of that there be a preservation fund as well. And those are part of the comments that we're submitting. I have a copy here, and we're happy to forward you the draft we're working on for FERC, so you have that.
And is that means that if the MOA agrees to probably remove the canal from the scope of work, SHPO might be in favor of it?
So bureaucracy is something that I think we're all in the middle of right now. The MOA is literally an agreement that we will come to the table to help create the plan. So the MOA is outlining key things we want in the plan, and while there's some set things that FERC require, we can ask for more. And actually, one thing the National Park Service said to us last week is they're going through this in Lowell as well, because Lowell is at the end of their relicensing period. And they said we've gotten more things in the draft MOA than they have been able to. So we're agreeing to agree to do something in the future, the creative plan. So I think that's one thing we hadn't realized. We were trying to hold CRP's feet to the fire to get them to agree to everything now. And what SHPO is highlighting is this is only like step 1 or 2 out of 10.
We agree to that. It's a lot of agreement, right? But essentially, I'm wondering, and I keep on wondering, if we have, if we might have access to the MOA that it was signed on Lowell. That's something that we probably should be looking at because it's a lot of similarities.
So they had the MOA, and they're now, I think, working on the plan, because they're also trying to take the canals out of the project area during relicensing in Lowell. We're not there yet, right? They're asking for amendment before the relicensing starts next year. So I think they're willing to talk to us. They've been having real challenges there as well. The difference is, I don't believe FERC thought it was an adverse impact in Lowell to take the canals out, but they have said it's an adverse impact here. So I think that's one of the reasons we might be getting further, is that both FERC and SHPO have raised concerns about taking the canals out of the project area.
And I believe that we're moving on that direction as well. Yeah. Well, thank you again for all the time and effort that you have put into it. Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Council President.
Councilor Piano.
Council President, if we could just add there's a sentence that says, if the MOA is executed, it would block any resurgence in renewable energy possibilities with the new property owners along the canal. If between renewable energies possibilities and with the new property owners along the canal, we could add for the city of Lawrence so it would read, if the MOA is executed, it would block any resurgence in renewable energy possibilities for the city of Lawrence and the new property owners along the canal.
As a form of a motion?
Council President, I could make it, but if there's a friendly amendment that is taken?
Yeah, I can definitely accept that friendly amendment for sure.
That I would like, and we can work on that together, and perhaps if the council would grant me the authority to meld these things in, but I'd like to see a couple of items added to this besides the correcting the CRP date. I also want to include a statement in there that for the SHPO, obviously not to sign it, but in the event that she does sign it, that she insists on making sure that there's the financial plan and the HPMP, which is the management plan. So we would have that conditional language on there.
I accept that friendly amendment.
Okay. Is there anything else, any showstoppers, anything else that caught your attention, Ms. McMahon?
I would also flag that there's both conservation as well as historic issues here. The conservation, there isn't any kind of conservation restriction, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife had asked for this amendment not to happen and that we should just make adjustments during the relicensing that starts next year due to it being priority habitat for endangered fish. So there are some other things at play too in terms of other issues the city may be interested in beyond historic to conservation.
So to repeat in a language that I know, so what you're looking for here is that there's already been comments by the Fish and Wildlife Service, and they were concerned with the fish and the fish ladder and that part of it. And so your recommendation to this body is that we also just at least touch on the fact that this city council is concerned with the fish element, and that it, again, same kind of language. We were looking for the SHPO not to sign, but should the SHPO decide to sign, in addition to those two other elements, the third element is making sure that the conservation aspect, fish, is also addressed and part of that agreement.
Correct.
Is that
And
right?
you can say priority habitat. That might be easier to. And I'm more than, like I said, we are finalizing our draft comments to FERC, but we did send a previous version to SHPO because we knew her deadline was coming up. And I'm happy to leave this and also forward up with an electronic copy to make it easier.
So I'd also
You're going to,
accept that friendly amendment.
so
for wildlife.
the priority habitat is part of the motion. All right. So counselors, the timing of this is rapid. In the motion, would the council authorize me, without having to go back to the council, the authority to use and put this language as part of the paragraph so we could facilitate this, getting this letter out in a timely manner? So that's one thing that I would look for if the council has that, can give me that latitude, I would work on it.
Sure.
Councilor Infante.
Just, newbie question. Do we have to make a motion on that, like, to give you the authority?
It could be included as part of the motion. So it's up to the motion person. If he says, I don't want to choose it, I would feel more comfortable having a vote of the council. That's going to be the motion, the sponsor of the motion's decision.
I make the friendly amendment to the motion.
Accept that.
Okay, so it's not part of the motion, okay? Anything else? Hearing none. This is to draft the letter and accelerate the drafting, and I'll get this to the clerk for approval. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion to send the letter to SHPO has now been adopted. Thank you. Thank you so
Council
much for
President.
coming. I also want to acknowledge, that we always have our elected officials. We need to acknowledge School Committeeman Guzman. Thank you for being here this evening. And I know you're not wearing that hat tonight. I know you're wearing your Rowers Lawrence hat, but when we see you, we have to recognize you with the other hat as well. So welcome. Thank you. All right, going. Under matters pending a public hearing, I don't think there's anything that we can take off of that list. That's still, I think that's still there. Clerk, is that right? There's nothing on there that has meet any resolution. Yep, speaking of resolutions, the first resolution is document 12922, a resolution to accept a Lawrence lithograph gift from former City Councilor James J. Dowd, and I put it on the agenda. That resolution will be going to the Ordinance Committee to accept the gift. The next document is document number 13122, a resolution in recognition of Angela Pena, put on by Councilor Rodriguez. There's a couple of things here. First of all, before anybody jumps to conclusions, this is out of order. For starters, this was provided on Friday. The deadline was on Wednesday at noon. Regardless of that, by our open meeting laws, we have 2 full days. Had this been put on by even on Thursday, we could have had a late file. So it's out of order. Having said that, let me get to the good part. In some discussions to try to get, because I know what the counselor is looking to do, and I support what the counselor is looking to do. I think we should be doing, if we want to, more of these things. Our rules say that any resolution must be sent to a committee. However, it doesn't talk about any citations. And what this could open up is some tremendous opportunities for all of us. So we don't, if there's something as a citation, and ask the clerk to kind of give us a copy of what one would look like. If a counselor has an event on Thursday of this week and doesn't want to go empty-handed like we always do, as the mayor that always gives the proclamation, and we kind of tag along, we could give our own citation if it happens really quickly. And so this is what a resolution could look like for Angela Pena, and this is what a city council citation would look like. And the words are all the same, except the 2 changes. One is it says citation as opposed to resolution, and at the very end, as opposed to the resolution where it says be it resolved, in the city council citation it says let it be known to all. So very minor things, but it gets us to the same point that we want to get to, whether it's this thing that we're going to be doing perhaps on the 4th or 3rd, or whatever the date is, 3rd, or if there's an event that any one of us wants to go to at any time. I mean, obviously, if we want to have the clerk give us a hand on drafting it, she has signaled that she's willing to do that. I'm willing to be a signer on almost anything that any counselor wishes to do at any point for any kind of award ceremony of some sort. So I throw that out there as a fan, and I want to, in a weird way, thank you for pushing this to get to this point, but it gets to where we need to go, and we don't have to do a pretzel around the rules, right? So I'm going to call that out of order. I want to share this to everyone so they can take a look at what one looks like and what the other one looks like, so you can have a handle on that. And then I'm certainly happy to sign a citation for that same clause. And that person can come on the first full city council meeting. So I think there's some good news here. Having said that, we will move on. The next item is budget and finance. Budget and Finance Committee Chairman, Mr. Payano.
Council President. This is for items HUD for a CDB grant, home grant of $875,000 for $875,762. ESG grant of $146,568, brought forward by Ms. Fink. The Budget and Finance Committee met on 4/12, and we voted unanimously to send this to the full council as a community report. There was some additional information that we asked to be provided, which was provided to us through the city clerk. Council President, I submit this as a committee report.
There's a motion to send document number 7622 as a committee report. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Dela Cruz? No? Dela Cruz, you didn't want to second that? Councilor Selena Reyes? Don't be shy. Councilor Selena Reyes? Okay. Councilor Selena Reyes, any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call. This is on a motion to accept the committee report only.
And who was the second?
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Okay.
A lot of comedy this evening.
Council Levy.
Yes.
Council De La Cruz.
Yes.
Council Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Council Rodriguez.
Yes.
Council Del Rosario.
Yes.
Council Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Councilor Payano.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve has been made. It's seconded by the Vice President. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
I have a question for, yes, Ms. Finn. Hi, Ms. Finn, how you doing?
Good evening, councilors.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have applied to those grants in the city, but the amount of paperwork is huge, and people ended up not doing it because of the amount of paperwork that they have to do. And is there any way to
The amount of paperwork is really determined by the federal regulations. There are certain documents that agencies have to have on hand. They have to have certain policies and procedures in place in order to be eligible. We require them to make sure that they're up to date on their IRS 990 filing, their Secretary of State filings, their Attorney General filings, as was requested by the City Council several years ago. They have to be a certified 501c3. The biggest hurdle, as I explained at the Budget and Finance Committee, is that the CDBG grants are a reimbursable grant, so the agency has to have enough cash flow to be able to, so if we gave them a grant of $10,000, they have to have $10,000 in hand in order to pay the expenses, and then we would then reimburse them. I think that's the biggest hurdle for some of the smaller agencies. We did do some discussing at the Budget and Finance Committee about doing some additional outreach and starting our outreach earlier to some of the smaller nonprofits, sending out an email blast to people who have applied maybe 5 or 6 years ago that maybe have not come back again. Maybe doing a what is CDBG and how can you apply event sometime over the summer or in the early fall. So we're going to try to do a little bit more outreach to get a larger pool of applicants.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Mr. President. I like the fact that we're gonna, if we go ahead and approve it, it's gonna be an improvement on a park in my district, which is the Reservoir. But I wanted to tell you, I wanted to say something so it could go out there to these big organizations. They are there getting the money. I mean, it hurts me that every time they come in, those big organizations, we give them the money. And it's so hard for me and my family to get a membership at the YMCA, and so expensive, while we get this money coming through them. So eventually, I would like to see that they actually, organizations that are not charging for my kids to play basketball, to get the help. Other organizations that are not charging the community to get the help. I mean, to go to the Boys Club and to go to YMCA is extremely expensive for the community. And we're given, every time they come in, we're given the money. And again, I would say they have grant hunters, but we got to keep that in mind. You get that money for whatever programs they get in, and it's all an organization, administration pay. Because the community, honestly speaking, for you guys that don't have any kids, is not getting what the kids need. They getting the money, and 80% it goes into administrations, which is paying their salaries. So next time, we need to do more outreach and find out who actually is doing the work for the community. Thank you.
Any other comments on this?
Council President, I have,
Councilor Payano.
thank you, Council President. So just, I just want to recap real quick some of the things that we spoke in the last meeting. There was a commitment made by Ms. Fink and I think the department to regroup on this issue and to work on ways to provide an increased outreach. In the past, so one of the things that we noticed from this current package and previous package is that there were sort of like less organizations. We gave out a good chunk of money, but several organizations are getting that money, some of the bigger ones, and I think we understood the statement made by Ms. Fink, where for some of these smaller organizations it's more difficult and perhaps they need more time. So I think there is some hand-holding sometimes that has to be done with some of these smaller organizations, and I think they starting earlier in the process might enable them to create a plan to be able to do that reimbursement. But at the same time, I think that as counselors, all of us are community leaders, and as we're speaking to these organizations, we have to make sure that they're also putting their end, and that they're going out and sort of pushing to get some of this information and to being helped. One question that was asked of me that perhaps the city clerk might be able to answer. Madam Clerk, you sent us a document with some information. Can you remind us when that date was that you sent it? Because I know some councils are looking for it.
The document itself is dated, well, the April, I don't have the date. Sue, do you have, you sent it? Because I turned around and 2 minutes after I got it, I sent it out, so.
I do appreciate that, City
And
Clerk.
what
Thank you.
date did you send it?
It was sent on the 14th of April.
Okay.
The day after the city council meeting.
Thank you. So I have the document, but I don't have the email. So if any counselor is looking for that particular document, it would have come from Ms. Fink, it would have come from Madam Clerk. Correct.
On April 14th.
And it was included with the council materials.
Council President, if I may.
Yes.
We would need, if this is approved tonight, we would need to order a public hearing as well.
So I'd like to amend my motion to order a public hearing.
Second the motion.
All right.
You need to avoid the 30 days, or no?
Public hearing, so they've been withdrawn. The new motion is order a public hearing, made by Councilor Payano, seconded by the Vice President. Any further discussion on order a public hearing? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion's been carries to order a public hearing. Thank you, Ms. Fink. See you in a couple.
you, Counselor.
See you in a couple weeks. The next document is document 10822, Budget Chairman Payano.
Thank you, Council President, and thank you, Ms. Fink. Item 10822, SEIU Local 88 Supervisors and Administrators Union Collective Bargaining Agreement Funding Approval. This item City Council, the Budget and Finance Committee met on 4/12, and we voted unanimously to send this to the full council with a favorable recommendation.
Motion's been made and properly second. Discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Intergovernmental Relations Committee, the first document there is document
I know that I've been asking you this like a million times today, but
I'm fairly used to it now.
thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to take document 103 and 105 out of order. I'm going to be calling individual. 105, 103 and 105.
10322?
Yes, 10322 and 10522.
It would be easier for the clerk if we could just do one and not the other.
Okay.
So you want to take one of the first ones,
I will do
10322?
whatever is easier for madam.
Motion to take document number 10322 out of order. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Madam Vice President?
Okay. Document 103 is request to change ordinance 2.12060, scheduling secretary. Ordinance 2.12070, resectionist. Ordinance 2.12090, program coordinator for economic development. And ordinance 2.104.060, human rights executive director. It has been sent out with the favorite recommendation pending the final language or draft and to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion's been made. Seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion?
This is the order of public hearing, right?
This is to order a
To order a public hearing.
public hearing, and I think it's important to note that the mayor's office did send down, I believe, to all of us, through the city clerk, some of the answers to the questions that the committee asked. And I just think that it's important that, that when the public hearing notice is issued, that it reflects those changes. So perhaps the motion can
Yeah.
just so we're clear on that.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a yes, okay. Motion's been made and seconded, and we all understand what's happening. Any further discussion? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Is that to order the public hearing?
Yes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion to order a public hearing is carried. Council Vice President, number 105.
Five is a reclassification of the chief administrative officer's position. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, also pending the final draft or language, just to order a public hearing. This is a public hearing.
And just so I'm clear, that was to take it out of order, correct? The motion?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Discussion, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Madam Vice President.
Document 10522 has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and pending the final draft, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
To
Motion
order a
been-
public hearing.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Councilor Payano. Discussion?
No discussion.
Hearing, the Vice President has heard no discussion, neither does the Chair. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy. Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to order a public hearing is carried. The next, let's go back to the top, Madam Vice President.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Yes, document 1522 is the handicap parking at 35 Exchange Street has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion?
No discussion.
Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Next document is 4322, Madam
Thank you,
Chair.
Councilor President. It's through you, it's a handicap parking at 21 Magnolia Street. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion for Councilor Del Rosario.
Motion made and seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. Document 5522, Madam Chair.
Is a parking 50-minute at 152 South Union Street. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing. It has been sent out to Selena Reyes to order a public hearing.
Motion's been made by by Madam Chair, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Motion to order a public hearing is carried. The next document is 6722, Madam Chair.
Last but not least is the handicap parking at 68 Eaton Street. It has been sent out with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made. Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none. Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. Document number 8922, withdrawals. Does anybody make a motion to withdraw that document?
So move.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes. Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion to withdraw is accepted. Next, under old business, document number 10122, Is a motion to amend Rule 15, question and possession of the council put on by Councilor Rodriguez and Vice President Reyes.
Yes, I make the motion to adopt the rule.
There's a motion to be made to adopt this amendment. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded.
Discussion.
And discussion by Councilor Payano. Do you want to start it off, Councilor? Councilor Payano?
So no, I just want to make sure that there's conversation about this and it's clearly understood what the amendment is.
Perhaps at this point, this is a good opportunity for one of the authors to describe.
Yeah, essentially one of the change, there is one change and one adding. Adding Rule 26 is one, and then this one, which is an amendment to one of our rules, is to ensure that every motion have a second. That every motion is follow up with a second as a requirement.
Someone have to second.
Thank you. Council President, I'm having a hard time finding the exact language of this. Can someone just read it?
Do you want to read it, Clerk?
I don't need the entire thing read, just the piece that we're changing.
So this is called a question in possession of the council. The current rule, I believe, says after a motion is stated or read by the presiding officer, it shall be deemed to be in possession of the council and shall be disposed of, but the mover may withdraw it by a majority vote of the council at any time before decision or amendment. So they're looking to add the following language. So the new motion, and I'm going to highlight when it gets to that point. After a motion is stated and read by the presiding officer, it shall be, here's the new part, be seconded in order to, and then the rest is the same, to be deemed in possession of the council and shall be disposed of, but the mover may withdraw by a majority vote of the council at any time before decision or amendment. So the key point here is once the motion is stated, it needs to be seconded to be deemed in possession.
Okay, thank you, Council President.
So I have a question on this one. Is the rule, so the rules are that whatever is at the full council is the rules for the committees. So is there a desire to make a difference between the full council and the committees? Because the committees at this point, all it needs is a motion. It doesn't need to be seconded. Will there be a difference? Or are you going to be treating the full council and the committees the same way?
That's the intention.
So the intention is to do that, okay? Is there an opportunity to maybe bifurcate that and have one at the full council and a different rule at the second? At the committee?
The intent is to actually ensure that the subcommittees proceed with a second. Obviously, the full council is there too, but I mean it's for the full council as well as the committees, as it has been done for years and generations in the city of Lawrence.
Any other questions or comments on this potential rule change? Mr. Del Rosario.
So, assuming that this has been brought up after we have that basically training meeting, and then we used it, then we had that conversation, says once we use this, they're gonna look at us like we have three heads. So, why wasn't that change prior to us starting using it? It's been there always. I mean, that's the question that I had. It has been there forever. And when we decided to use it, the council rules has been there forever. And we decided to use it now, so now we're making a change. But it has been there, so my question is, why now? That's the question.
I have the answer.
Do you wish the Vice President to answer? Vice President, go ahead.
Well, we have a new city clerk. That's the only answer. So that's what we have never been training before, just the way that she did it. that she took her Saturday morning just to kind of educate us. And I wish I wouldn't, go through the rules before, that we don't have to get stuck in our committee for some item that has never been seconded.
Through you, Mr. President.
Mr. Del Rosario.
It's, Vice President, do you know that we are taking this away now? Everything have to be second, even in the committee. That's what we're doing right now.
That's the motion that Councilor Rodriguez is presenting, that we continue doing what we had been doing for years, or we can make the changes up here. So I have no problem, one of each way. So whatever way we go, I'm okay with it. So that's the way we've been doing it, like you say, for years.
Mr. Payano, who hasn't spoken yet. I don't think, have you spoken yet? No?
I've definitely spoken just
On this issue. Okay, Mr. Payano?
Thank you, Council President. So what I'll say is, I think I'm somewhere in the middle between this. In the past, if there was, for example, you could have a committee of 3, and so if you're the chair and there's one person for and one person against, sometimes it could be difficult moving the thing along, right? So either moving it forward favorably or unfavorably, or even trying to table the motion. So I think in one way, the new way, or maybe, from hearing Councilor Del Rosario, is actually the old way that we just didn't follow. That would definitely alleviate that. So there's something, to that, but I completely understand that, there was a system of the way that we do things, and normally, at least on the council level, everything we do, you need a second for. So I'm honestly not, I don't know which way to go, so.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Councilor De La Cruz?
But we have 4 members in a committee, right? Always, it's going to be a vote between 3 people. If the chair doesn't vote, then the other 3 people, one can vote second the motion or not. Then the 3 people besides, the chair of that community can second the motion or cannot second the motion.
Council President, to you.
Councilor Payano to respond.
It's Councilor Rodriguez. I'm just responding. Councilor Cruz, if you have 3 people, right? So, if you have 4, there's no issue. So, yeah, but so I'm just speaking on the times that you have 3 people, right? And so if you have 3 people and the chair can't second anything, right? And someone's for and someone's against, then you might not get a second. That's all I'm speaking about.
Councilor Rodriguez, you're not going to be happy. Councilor Infante hasn't spoken yet.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to make a quick note of the time. That is 9:52, and I believe we're going to go over 10 p.m. So just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that.
Thank you. I'm sure someone will remind me when it's 10 o'clock to make the motion. Councilor Selena Reyes, did you wish to speak? Okay, I thought you were looking to speak. Councilor Rodriguez, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Council President. I just want to make sure that we go to what the parliamentary procedure says. I have in here of maybe few communities, not as large as 100,000 people, that might don't have a second in Massachusetts. I don't have for sure communities that don't have this. It is important that we preserve what we have done for years and the work that has been done by others. And by not recognizing if there is a problem, which probably it just is fall into the default portion of having a motion and a second, which makes sense based on the rules, except for probably communities that are not as equal as Lawrence. I think that we should do what's right. Even though it may be convenience now not to have a second, but I mean, we shouldn't look at now. We should look at what is real, what we've been doing for years, and what others have done. I think that this is a situation that we should just continue doing what is right and what we have done, and correct the mistake. If it is any mistake, that's the intention of this modification of the rule.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Thank you, Mr. President. Calling it right or wrong, it doesn't make sense, because it's been there. I mean, the consular rules, that doesn't affect me at all. But the consular rules have been there forever. If you guys haven't used it, or none of us have used it, it's not wrong or right. Again, my question is, I'm not gonna have a question. I just want to have a recommendation. Let's do what we got to do with it. Take it out, take it in. But we need to do another training with the senior members of our staff and go and take them to the rules so they can check the consular rules, and from there, take decision of what they're going to take out or take in. I mean, again, it doesn't affect me at all. But as a new consular, trying to do the right thing, because this consular's rules, and we got training on it, and that's been there forever. That we not using it is different. It has been there forever. So I guess we all got to go to go through the rules, all of them, they've been there forever, and find out all of us, what we're going to take out, we'll take in. I mean, second on a motion, it might be, it's on a default because we've been using it for longest, but it's not part of the rules on the committee. And we learned that on a training that most of us commend. I mean, most of the things, again, I'm going to say, there's things there that we've been reading that it was done in the training that when we use it again, people are going to look at us like we got three heads, and we're going to have this situation again. We're going to remove this, whatever line is, 15, 14, 13. So that's fine. We're going to go through this. But why don't we get those rules through all of us again, Madam Clerk, and they can revise the rules and try to eventually make some changes, because we're going to use the rules are there, and they're going to look at us like we had three heads. And again, we're going to have another discussion on line 11, line 10, line 13 or 14. So that's what we got to do, I guess. Revise the rules. If we're not using the rules, it's because we're not using the rules, but it's not, it is wrong or it's the right thing. The wrong thing is not using the rules that we've been having for so long, that we never used.
Okay, so those are any other comments? Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. Clerk?
Councilor Infante.
Can you repeat the motion, please?
Motion is to change Rule 15. The title of it is the question and possession of the council. The effect of the change would be that there needs to be a second to all motions, both here and in the committee.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Abstain.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Payano.
Present.
Councilor De La Cruz.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, what?
Present.
Councilor Levy.
I'm going to abstain.
President LaPlante.
No. Motion, what's the vote on that?
It is 4 years, so it does not carry.
We need 6 votes to carry. The next document before us is document number, let me see, where am I? Document number 10222. This is adding Rule 26, Parliamentary Authority. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Discussion? That was Councilor Infante made the motion. It's been seconded by Councilor Payano.
No, I second.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. The Counselor Vice President seconded, and Counselor Payano, you wanted the floor?
No, so just want to make sure that give the opportunity Councilor Rodriguez and Vice President Reyes to explain the addition of this rule.
It's written on there. There's no explanation. It's to adapt Rule 26, which is, obviously it's in the package, which is to default anything that the City Council rules doesn't state to the rules of orders.
Discussion? No discussion. The only thing I wanted to bring up, just on the history side of things, of course, I'm not allowed to make an opinion, I just want to give some facts on history. 1847 is when this town became incorporated. We never had city council meetings, we had selectmen and selectmen town meetings. In 1853 is when we finally had a city. In 1853, we had a city council. And in city council, at that point, there was no, what this is looking to do is to have Robert's Rules, as I understand it, being the underlying document. In 1853, there wasn't Robert's Rules. There wasn't anything. So it was the council rules or nothing at all. In 1857, there was something called Cushing's Rule, Cushing's Manual. It's similar to Robert's Rules, but it was Cushing Rules. So back in 1857, we actually had some underlying situations, underlying documents, similar to Robert's Rules, but it was called Cushing's Manual. If you go back to 1912, we then changed our government again. We changed our government just keep in mind, back in 1853 and 1857, we had 19 city councilors, and we had 6 aldermen. And then we changed the form of government back in 1912, and in 1912, we just drastically reduced that to just aldermen and a mayor. And one of the aldermen were the mayor. At that time, they took away the Cushing's Manual, no Robert's Rules, and so they just had the rules pretty similar to the rules that we have today, almost identical to the rules we have right now. The last time we had a charter change was in 1986. To see where we are right now, 9 councilors, right? At that 9 councilors, again, no Cushing's, no Robert's Rules. They made a decision that they were just going to go with the rules that we have. How many are there? 30, 20? 20. So at this point, it's just 25 rules. Now, when I've been on the council, I've seen 2 rule changes. First rule change was in 2016. And I worked with Council President Modesto Maldonado. We had a real problem in 2016 by having quorum in the committees. I can't begin to tell you how many times I came to the city council chambers and we never had a quorum. People didn't show up to meetings. So I said to the council president, why don't we do this? Why don't we give you, council president, the authority to come in and you can serve ex officio on any one of these and be a voting member as long as they're there. He thought that was a great idea. The council thought it was a great idea, and that's where the council president started, if they needed to be, that could show up, and that's where you see the rules. The second rule change took place this year that I'm aware of, and that was what? And is there a motion to go past
10.
Motion to go past 10. I'm on a roll. Motion made and seconded by Councilor Rodriguez. Roll call vote, please.
So, Mr. President, was that made by Councilor Infante?
Actually, it was Council Vice President. And I
Who was the
totally,
second,
Councilor
Councilor
Rodriguez, I heard him say second.
Okay. Councilor Levy,
Yes.
Councilor De La Cruz,
Yes.
Councilor Payano,
Yes.
Vice President Reyes,
No.
Councilor Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario,
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes, Councilor Infante,
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, motion carries. So to end this thought real quick. Are in 1986, the rules we have now. Something like this underlying it, but when it went from a big number to a smaller number, that this kind of went away. So this is what it looks like, Robert's Rules. This is not the most recent version, this is the 11th. The 12th version looks like this. So I just want you to have a visual as to what that looks like. Our rules are still 25 long at this point.
You're going to provide it to us? Because, well, yes, but are you going to provide it as a council president? Because that what we did
It's a
in the
nice
past.
gift.
So that you're going to provide it to us?
If this motion passes,
Yes.
guess what? Yeah, I mean, if the motion passes, then we would have to have this. You would all have to have one, certainly.
Okay. So call the motion then.
So, wow. Okay. Any further discussion on the matter? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
No, the motion carries.
Point of
You're going
inquiry.
to provide.
And you buying the book?
Now, you all have to be a master of this. It's not
Last
just
edition.
25
Not
rules,
to know
there's
to
all of this as well, so good luck with that.
Are you buying the books?
Point of inquiry.
There's a point of parliamentary inquiry by Mr. Rodriguez. Yes, sir.
Can you go back to Rule 15 to discuss that specific Rule 15 and ensure about a second at the full council meeting? I want to make sure that we have that stated there, that at the full council meeting, that is not a decision of anybody, but at the full council meeting, we need a second.
Needs to be somebody on the prevailing side to make a motion to
I
reconsider.
just want to have a parliamentary inquiry because that's one of our rules, it's in order. So I'm not talking about the previous item, I'm talking about parliamentary procedures.
If you're looking to, so what I'm hearing is that you're looking to change the rule, but to change the rule differently. Am I understanding correct? No, okay, I'm gonna try
Trying
again.
to change anything, I just want to make sure that what we're going to do from now on at the full council meeting requires a second, and we have it on the rules. Otherwise, nothing will require a second, as per the Rule 15. Not at the meeting, not at the committees, but either at the full council meeting.
If someone were to challenge the chair on that decision, then we would have a vote of that. At this point, we would continue with the motions.
It's a
that is-
parliamentary inquiry that I'm asking.
And I'm answering the question. So the question is, I would continue to order it as it currently is. If someone decides to challenge the chair on that, the chair would make the ruling, and then the challenge would go forward, right? So hypothetically, just to help us all illustrate what that means, if we have another motion later on this evening, and it hasn't been seconded, the chair would not call that an order. If somebody challenges the chair and say, listen, Rule 15 says you don't need a second, then we would challenge the chair on that. We would throw it out there, and then, the body would make a decision. Did you want a second or no second? Is that clear?
What I want to make sure is that we read for the record that Rule 15 allow motion to be second at the full council and not at the subcommittees, because that's not stated there. So as a parliamentary inquiry, I want to make sure that we read that and we make sure that this is what it read.
So just so I'm clear, there needs to be something before us to make that happen. Right now, there is nothing before the council.
It's a parliamentary inquiry from one of our rules.
I thought I answered it. I'm not sure that
Council President?
I adequately answered it. Councilor Payano?
I think I understand what Councilor Rodriguez is trying to do, so I am not in the prevailing side or someone, so I'd like to make a motion to reconsider the last item.
Who's on the, Madam Clerk, who's on the prevailing side on that vote?
So the motion to reconsider.
I'll make a motion.
So there's a motion to what's the motion again? The motion is to reconsider the vote?
Yes.
Motion has been made to reconsider the vote. It has been seconded. I see Counselor Levy's hand, so let me go there. Counselor Levy?
We are past them.
Yep, and we're good. We've already voted for it, so I think we're in a good place. So, motion has been made to reconsider, and it has been properly seconded, so we can take that vote. Any discussion? All this does is it just allows us to have another round of votes on whatever the next motion is, right? Roll call?
Was the second made by Counselor Infante, Counselor Selena Reyes? Okay. All right, Counselor Levy?
Please, can you repeat the motion, please?
The motion is to reconsider. Those who are on the prevailing side, the side that it did not pass, have a chance to make a motion to reconsider. It's been properly made, it's been properly seconded, and so now we're having that vote.
So, Mr. President, there actually wasn't a prevailing side because it didn't pass. You see what I'm saying?
But so if it didn't pass, the
Other side
people
need to make it.
the people who didn't want it to go forward is the prevailing side.
Exactly.
So who?
He had it, Counselor Payano had it correct.
So we are withdrawing that per the chair under advice of the city clerk. The prevailing side is Counselor Payano. Counselor Payano.
So, Council President, I'd like to make a motion to reconsider.
Made to reconsider. Is there a second? Does anybody can second it, or does it have to be on the prevailing side as well? Prevailing. So who seconded it? Counselor Reyes?
But she was on the other side.
Who's on the prevailing side?
Counselor Del Rosario.
For the second motion,
Counselor Dela Cruz did it.
Is Counselor Dela Cruz on the prevailing
Yes.
side? Yes. Motion made and properly second. Discussion. Again, just the motion to reconsider. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
No.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. Who wishes to have the floor at this point?
Council President,
Counselor Payano.
I'd like to amend this motion to read, I'm trying to do this on the fly. Actually, Council President, it is pretty late, so I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
Second.
Motion to table. Is there a second? Second. No discussion. All in favor? Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Infante.
No.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes? Okay. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes. I say no to the table.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
No.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
Five in favor of tabling.
Motion to table is, it's tabled. Moving on. Under new business, this is the first one, document 11222. 11222, handicap parking, 83 Warwick Street, ordinance. Stop, document 113, stop sign at request Newberry Street at Summer Street, ordinance. Document 11422, appointment of Marlene, is it Ferrer, to the position of voting member of the Lawrence Planning Board. That is going to the Personnel Committee. Document 11522, appointment of Francisco Abad to the position of associate member of the Lawrence Planning Board is going to the Personnel Committee. Document 116, un dia de, help me with that, de Clamor, O'Connell Park on September 3rd is going to the Ordinance Committee. Christian Fellowship, Community Fellowship Church Family Event, Gagnon Park, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. 11822, junk dealer license, Winfield Alloy Incorporated, 15 Medford Street, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. 11922, old gold license, Kiyoma Yohiria at 200 and 204 Broadway, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. Stop sign request, 1 North Parish Road, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. Handicap parking, 80 Trenton Street, Ordinance Committee. 122 is Olive in July anniversary celebration, Campagnone Common on July 9th. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 12322, traffic management during construction operations permit processes, rules, and regulations, put on by Councilor Rodriguez. Ordinance Committee. Number 12422, enforcement plan for illegal non-registered motorcycles. Councilor Rodriguez is going to Public Safety. 12522, noise handling by illegal non-registered motorcycles, by Councilor Rodriguez. That is also going to the Public Safety Committee. So just so I'm clear, I'm kind of losing it. 124 and 125 are both going to the Public Safety Committee, right? 12622. I am ruling that one out of order because it deals with the academic process. If the sponsor wishes to leave it as a quarterly site visits to deal with safety issues or concerns, that would be in order. All right, so that's, we're removing the academic process from that one, and it's the quarterly site visits at Lawrence Public Schools, including but not limited to safety issues or concerns by Councilor Rodriguez. Safety issues, that's going to go to Public Safety. Next is 12722, license plate readers technology update concerns. Councilor Rodriguez, that's Public Safety. 12822, public camera systems update, Councilor Rodriguez, that's Public Safety. 12922, the Dream Network basketball at O'Connell Park, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. 13022, Platform Outreach Ministries Incorporated, Campagnone Common, on August 26th and August 27th, that is going to the Ordinance Committee. On document number 13222, that is not in order. That was filed today, and it is in violation of the open meeting laws. However, I do encourage that that be placed on the next agenda on the May 4th, May 3rd on Tuesday, May 3rd agenda, so we can put it on that one. That would be in order for that meeting. Councilor Rodriguez.
To the agenda that are not falling within the 48 hours, but we have done that before, and I want to make sure that is the 24-hour rule, this 48 hours laws. It's actually requires on emergency matters, or it could go to City Council with the 7 vote in favor to be added to the agenda. So the question will be, it's illegal to actually go above the 48 hours when they are considered emergency, or it's that tool is being used just to perhaps declare something out of order. I just wanna ask if we can get a legal opinion on that. I'm gonna highly appreciate it.
So the legal opinion is the following. The open meeting law requires the following under Mass General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 20. And this is the exception to the open meeting laws. The open meeting laws require that there must be 48 hours notice before something can be put on the agenda. The exemption is this, subsection B. Except in an emergency, in addition to any notice otherwise required by law, a public body shall post notice of every meeting at least 48 hours prior to the meeting, including Saturdays, Sundays, and legal holidays. In an emergency, a public body shall post notice as soon as reasonably possible prior to the meeting. Notice shall be printed in a legible, easily understood, formal, and shall contain the date, time, and place of the meeting and a listing of topics that the chair reasonably anticipates will be discussed at the meeting. What is the, what is the, so it has to be reasonably anticipated, so this is something that, that's the exemption. You didn't anticipate this, or the chair doesn't anticipate this, and if you're going to use the emergency clause, there needs to be action on it. What is the emergency and what is the action that requires it? Keeping in mind, most of these kinds of actions would be a fire, for example, if there needed to be, if there needed to be some sort of action, acceptance of something, placing someone as an emergency, we needed to act at that point. I feel, at least in the document that's provided to us, there doesn't seem to be enough information to declare that an emergency, and it should go before a meeting as any other meeting, because it's not, it doesn't, there's no emergency matters here. Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm assuming that, as you all live here knows, that the substance use in the city of Lawrence, it's a crisis, especially in youth. And if we don't consider this as an emergency, kids dying because overdoses, and kids dying every day because of the use of drugs, and then that's not an emergency. To me, it is, but it is up to to Mr. Chair to consider that as an emergency. I have information, clear information, that this could be a summer that is been anticipated, that if we don't act upon, a lot of young kids might die and will continue dying because this is a crisis. That's the emergency.
I see Councilor Levy's hand is up. Councilor Levy.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for letting me know. I want to take an item, and I've been trying to do it for a long time. I'm trying to take an item out of order. It's from the matter, 7022.
Second.
So a motion to take document what off the table? Which
To take item 7022.
Well, so first thing, I've made the ruling, if there's going to be an emergency on this, Counselor, if there's going to be an emergency on this, there needs to be action tonight. Going to a committee is not an emergency action. If there's an emergency, this council is doing something tonight to address an emergency. So I have not heard anything yet that requires action for this evening before this body that requires any kind of immediate action that we need to deal with this evening.
So basically,
The member has not been clear as to what action that this proposal is looking to accomplish tonight. Are you looking to add more police officers to a particular corner? Are you looking to do anything that requires action by the city council this evening, sending it to a committee? That doesn't say it's an emergency, because that tells anybody that it's waiting. You're pushing it down. You're doing something else. You're having a discussion. So the question here is, what is the action? And it's not on this piece of paper. What is the action that is looking to be accomplished tonight that does something to address this emergency, whatever the emergency is?
Council President?
I'm going to ask the question, and then we got to move on. I sense there's going to be a disagreement. I've already made my ruling on it. Councilor Piano, and then we're going to go to Councilor Levy.
Yeah, through you, Council President. Councilor Rodriguez, I believe that there might be some previous items on the Public Safety Committee that deals with substance abuse, that you might be able to use that as a way to bring up this topic. There's also some items that deal with the public schools, and I think that that also might be an opportunity to bring up this topic.
There we go, thank you. Now, thank you. Counselor Levy wanted, thank you very much, Counselor Piano. Counselor Levy, you wanted to take something off? Counselor Levy has the floor. Counselor Levy.
Yes, I want to take it out of the table, item 7022.
Document 7022 under table matters? I'm looking. Okay. Is there so motion's been made and has it been seconded? I need a second if this isn't moving anywhere. Okay, motion's been made and properly seconded. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll, and I'm going to need to recuse myself from this matter.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz is absent. Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante is recused.
I am recused.
Levy.
Madam Chair, may I ask that the city clerk to please just read it, the item 7022, please?
Counselor Levy, you wish for me to read your request?
Please read item 7022.
So I have, Counselor Levy presented me with a request, request that the city attorney prepares an ordinance to change city ordinance 2.04.060 so that there is no conflict between this ordinance and document number 7022 that is currently tabled, Council Order Poll Worker Compensation. Further request that this ordinance change is submitted to the city clerk for inclusion on the May 3rd, 2022 City Council agenda. Anna Levy, Counselor at Large. So we need a vote on it.
Counselor Levy.
Madam Chair, thank you, Ms. LeBlanc. Madam Chair, the reason why I'm asking is because time is approaching us and we need to go forward with this changing for the next election. So we need the city clerk to move forward with a 2.04.060 so that there is not a conflict on the ordinance.
So, yeah. Okay. So, Councilor Levy make a motion. We need to hear second. Motion has been made second. Roll call.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Present.
Counselor Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor De La Cruz is absent. Counselor Levy.
Yes.
And
motion to table, Councilor Levy?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Counselor Levy. Counselor Levy. Counselor De La Cruz is absent. Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario. Yes. Counselor Selena Reyes. Counselor Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante is recused.
Okay. So,
All right, councilors, thank you. So I think we're all done with new business. I think all we're looking for now is no other table matters, right?
No.
Right?
No.
Councilor Vice
No.
President?
no more table. just schedule the
Are you
meeting,
sure,
please.
Council Vice President?
Please.
You seem wishy-washy on this. You may want to, okay.
Ordinance is going to be next Tuesday.
Ordinance next Tuesday, Budget and Finance Committee.
Council President, I did not hear anything that was.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't think, how about personnel? You got that?
On Wednesday, 7 p.m.
Wednesday and 7, Housing Committee?
Do we have any business in housing?
I don't
No.
think so.
Safety is on Wednesday at 6. If you
Public Safety?
Wednesday at 6.
Public Safety. Now, Committee on the Whole, we need to come back to that because we talked about the cable thing. We're going to come back in 2 weeks, right? So it's a Monday? Is that what we're
They're
doing?
going to be, are they answer back and they're going to be present?
They said 2 weeks, right?
Well, make sure that,
We're gonna invite
I
them in.
rather check with them and not to be carried with a meeting that probably they're not ready yet. So leave it open, and if we need to,
So what's the open date that you're looking at? It's a Monday, right? You want a Monday? Is that the date? Not this Monday. So 2 weeks from the 11th was going to be the 25th. Did you want to do it on the? So if you can't do it on the 25th, were you looking at the 2nd?
the second works better for me. And I hear the second. 7 o'clock, yeah?
So tentative schedule, and we can follow up with an invitation to make sure that they are available to show up on the 2nd, May 2nd, okay? I think that's it, right? No other business?
When was personnel?
Personnel is Wednesday, right, Counselor Payano? Counselor Payano. Personnel's on Wednesday?
Yes.
At 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Okay. Good, you got them all? Now, Counselor Anna Levy, your hand is still up, or do you need something else, or are you all set?
I'm upset.
Okay, okay. Do you want to make a motion to adjourn, Counselor Levy?
To adjourn.
Too late. Motion by Vice President Reyes, seconded by Counselor Levy.
My roll call is yes.
Discussion, hearing none. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Levy.
Yes.
Counsel De La Cruz is absent. Counsel Payano.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counsel Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counsel Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counsel Infante.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes.
The citation